All right, let's talk about wine. We're going to uncork this whole complex world. Now, whether you're pouring it at a restaurant, selling it in a shop, or just trying to enjoy it more, getting the basics down can completely change the game. The goal here is simple: to give you, as a hospitality pro, the confidence to talk about wine like you've been doing it for years. So let's dive in.
And let's be real, trying to get serious about wine can feel, well, pretty intimidating. This quote I saw on Reddit really nails it. It's this fascinating world you want to get into, but it feels like you're trying to learn a secret language. Well, stick with me, because today we're going to translate it for you.
So here's the game plan. We've broken it all down into 5 key parts. First, we'll get into why wine seems so confusing in the first place. Then, we're going to unlock the huge secret of terroir. After that, we'll look at how wine actually gets its color, solve the mystery of what's going on with those bubbles, and finally, we'll figure out what really makes a wine a quality wine.
Okay, so first things first. Why is this topic just packed with so much jargon and, let's be honest, a lot of contradictory rules, right? You hear one expert say one thing, you read something totally different online, and then a guest asks a question that just sends you spinning. It's a super common feeling. And here's the wild part. Even a lot of the official educational stuff out there can have mistakes. Sometimes, in an effort to make things simple, they get a little too simple and end up being just plain wrong. That's exactly why having a solid foundation, knowing the real science and the facts behind it all, is going to be your best tool. So let's build that foundation right now with maybe the single most important concept in wine: terroir. You've probably heard the word thrown around, but what on earth does it actually mean? Well, it is the absolute key to understanding how the exact same grape can end up tasting completely different. And this question is the perfect example. I mean, think about it. It's the exact same grape, Pinot Noir. So how can one from Burgundy be all earthy and elegant, while one from Oregon is bursting with fruit and has a totally different vibe? The answer isn't just about the person who made the wine, it's about the place itself. Think of it like this. Terroir is basically the grape's zip code, its unique hometown. It's this French word that covers everything in the natural environment that affects the vine. It's the soil, the weather, the slope of the hill. It's the sum of everything nature does to that grape before a human ever gets involved. So it's not just one thing. It's actually a mix of 4 key ingredients. You've got the climate, which is a huge one. Then there's the soil type. Is it rocky? Is it clay? That affects how the vine gets water and nutrients. You also have the geomorphology, like, is the vineyard on a steep sunny slope or down by a cool river? And believe it or not, even the other living things around, like local yeasts floating in the air, play a part. Okay, so this is where it gets really practical. This is something you can actually use tonight at work. The climate part of terroir is massive. In cool places, grapes have to struggle to get ripe. That struggle means they hold on to their acidity, which gives you wines that are crisp, zesty, and lighter, like a classic Sauvignon Blanc. Now, in hot climates, grapes get ripe super easily, packing in tons of sugar. That sugar turns into more alcohol, giving you wines that are fuller, richer, and smoother, like a big Australian Shiraz. So just by knowing if a region is hot or cold, you can start predicting what the wine in the bottle is going to be like. It's a total game changer. All right, so we've covered where the slaver journey begins, out in the vineyard. Now, let's head into the winery and answer a really basic but important question. What makes red wine red and white wine white? And the answer, believe it or not, is surprisingly simple. It's all about the skin. So for red wines, it goes like this. The grapes get crushed, and then the juice is left to hang out and ferment with the skins, seeds, and all that stuff. This process is called maceration. It's during this skin contact that all the color, flavor, and tannin, that grippy, drying feeling in your mouth, gets pulled out into the juice. The longer they soak, the darker and more tannic the wine. Now, white wine, it's the complete opposite. The grapes are crushed, but then the juice is immediately pressed and separated from the skins. They only ferment the pure juice. No skin contact means no color gets extracted. And here's a cool little fun fact. Because the color is in the skins, you can actually make white wine from red grapes. And that brings us to rosé, right? What's the deal there? Well, it's just the perfect middle ground. It's made like a red wine, but that skin contact is way, way shorter. Maybe just a few hours. Just long enough to get that perfect pink color before the juice is drained off. It's really all about timing. Okay, time to talk bubbles. Sparkling wine is one of those categories where there's this big idea that how it's made automatically makes it better or worse.
We're about to dive into the science and bust a huge myth that a lot of marketing dollars have gone into creating. So there are basically two main ways to make wine fizzy. You've got the traditional method, which they use for champagne. That's where a second fermentation happens inside every single bottle. Then there's the Charmat or tank method, used for Prosecco, where that second fermentation happens in one giant tank. The common story is that the bottle method gives you complex, toasty flavors, and the tank method gives you fresh, fruity flavors.
But here's the big question. Is that actually true? Is the method itself the thing that dictates the final flavor? I mean, the marketing for expensive champagnes certainly wants you to think so, but what does the science have to say about it? Well, get ready for this. A study from 2023 took the exact same batch of base wine and made sparkling wine with it using both methods, keeping everything else identical. And their conclusion, right here, is that the method itself is not what creates those flavors we associate with champagne or Prosecco. When it was a level playing field, expert tasters couldn't even tell the difference. So what does that really mean? It means the method isn't the hero of the story. The grapes are. The most important thing, by far, is the quality of the wine you start with. You can't use a fancy method to save mediocre juice. But if you start with great juice, you can make fantastic sparkling wine either way. And that idea really brings us to our final takeaway. We've talked about the importance of place, the process in the winery, and we've busted some myths. So when it all comes down to it and a guest asks you, is this a good wine? What's the real answer? What actually defines quality? It really boils down to just three core things. Number one, the grapes. Like we just saw, you can't make great wine from bad fruit. It all starts there. Number two, the terroir. That special sense of place that makes a wine unique and impossible to copy. And number three, the winemaker. The person whose skill and decisions guide that fruit all the way into the glass. And this, right here, is your new toolkit. From now on, when you look at a wine list, don't just see a bunch of names and prices. See these three pillars. Ask yourself, okay, what are the grapes? Where's it from? Is it a hot place or a cold place? And who's the producer? Knowing this stuff lets you tell the wine's story, not just list a few flavors. And that's how you really connect a guest with a bottle they're going to absolutely love. So there you have it. We've cracked the code. From terroir to skin contact to the real story behind the bubbles, the only question left is, what are you going to do with it? How is this going to change the way you look at that wine list tomorrow? The world of wine isn't a maze anymore, it's a map. And now, you know how to read it.